Welcome to Margot Dreams of Baking. Today I'm going to show you how to make one of my favorite muffin recipes, brown butter banana muffins. Stick around and I'll show you how. The first step to making these brown butter banana muffins is to brown some butter. You can skip this step and just use regular melted butter, but the flavor of the brown butter is worth it, trust me. So take 1 stick of butter and put it in a saucepan over medium heat, stirring constantly until the milk solids start to brown and get golden. Once your butter has browned, transfer it to a bowl to let cool slightly before using it. Try and get as many of those browned milk solids out of your saucepan to use in your muffins because that is where the deep, nutty flavor comes from. Another important ingredient in these muffins is, of course, the bananas. Make sure that they're nice and brown so that they're full of flavor and ready to use. You're looking for 2 cups or 500 milliliters of mashed bananas to use in the muffins. That takes about 4 large bananas. If it's slightly more or slightly less than 2 cups, that's fine. Just somewhere around the 2-cup mark. Once you've mashed your bananas up, add a teaspoon of lemon juice and stir it all together. This is just going to stop the bananas from browning too much. I like to add some chopped toasted pecans to my banana muffins because I think that it complements the brown butter flavor really nicely. You can use chocolate chips or leave them plain, or walnuts, any other kind of nut that would complement a banana flavor. If you're going to toast your nuts, put them over a medium-high heat in a saucepan, shaking every once in a while until they start to brown, look shiny and golden. Once your nuts are toasted, if they're not already chopped, you can transfer them to a cutting board and just rough chop them. Then put them aside until you're ready to use them. Next is time to mix together the dry ingredients. In my bowl, I'm adding 2 large eggs, 150 grams or 3/4 of a cup of dark brown sugar. You can use light brown. I like the dark brown for the flavor. I'm adding in my melted brown butter, my bananas that I've mixed with 1 teaspoon of lemon juice, and a teaspoon of vanilla. Now I did forget to add 1 ingredient at this point, which I'll add in a second, but I started mixing them up and then I realized that I forgot to add my sour cream. Now I actually am not using sour cream today. I'm using yogurt just because I made these on the spur of the moment and yogurt was what I happened to have. You just want something with some acid. Next is time to mix together the dry ingredients. In a smaller bowl, I've added 1.5 cups or 240 grams of cake and pastry flour, 4 grams or 1 teaspoon of baking powder, 2 grams or half a teaspoon of baking soda, 2 grams or half a teaspoon of salt. Then I'm adding half a teaspoon each of ground nutmeg and ground cinnamon. It's not a lot of spice, it just really complements the banana flavor. Then just whisk those together. Next, add the toasted nuts to the flour, or if you're using chocolate chips, add those, and just whisk them around to coat them in the flour. This will help keep them evenly distributed through the batter and help them not sink to the bottom of the muffins. Once you've mixed both your dry and wet ingredients together separately, it's time to mix them together. So pour the dry ingredients into the wet ingredients and stir them together gently, just until the batter comes together and you don't see any more white. Be careful not to overmix, that will make the muffins rather dense. And if you want light fluffy muffins, just keep stirring very gently until all of that mixture is just incorporated. Now that my batter is all mixed together and I've preheated my oven to 400 degrees Fahrenheit or 205 Celsius, I'm now scooping my muffin batter into a greased 12-cup muffin pan. I love using an ice cream scoop that has a quick release. It makes it so much easier to scoop the batter in and keep it less messy. What I do is I add 1 scoop to each pan to start, and then just gradually fill up each muffin tin to be about equal with the remaining batter. Once that's filled, I'm going to bake them for 25 to 30 minutes. until they're nice and golden brown on top and risen. And when you touch them, they spring back. They don't feel wet. You can also use a toothpick and stick it in the center to check. My muffins are all baked, and now it's time for the taste test. I wish you guys could have smelled these as they were baking. The smell of the brown butter mixed with the banana coming out of the oven is just intoxicating. They smell so good. Time for a taste test. These are still piping hot. They're rich in banana flavor. They're not dense because of the added sour cream or yogurt that helps them rise even much more. And they have such an underlying depth of flavor from that brown butter that complements the toasted nuts really well. Now, as I mentioned before, you can use chocolate chips or just use them plain, and they're still absolutely delicious. They're not very hard to make. The extra step of browning the butter only takes a couple minutes, so I highly recommend doing it. But if you don't want to brown butter, they're still really delicious to make. I hope you try them. Thanks for watching. If you like this video, please remember to like and subscribe to my channel and check out my playlist for more videos.